Hello, everyone. My name's Lindsay Bushing, and welcome back to Work in Prog-mess, episode 3. Hopefully, I get to so many episodes that I forget what number we're on, but right now it's number 3.
She is a work in progress, may not figure it out, but she'll do her best. Try to play it cool, but is always stressed.
But no matter what, she's a work in prog-mess.
That was good. Let's hear it. Quick disclaimer. I don't know if I've ever said this, but I have a rabbit. I have a bunny. He's a bunny. Rabbit is a strong word. He is about 2 pounds of fear. Anyway, I have a bunny. His name is Benny the bunny. We call him Benjamin Button, Sir Benjamin, Benito, whatever. Anyway, he's on a bit of a naughty streak. I have had him, we got him in January 2023, so it's been a year and a couple months. And at first he was, honestly, for like the first year, he was kind of skittish. Obviously, rabbits don't like to be picked up. We were never doing that. But, I spent a lot of time on the floor with him. He would come over to me occasionally, let me pet him. I think he kind of came from some sort of abuse situation because I'm not laughing at that, but he's cute because he has no teeth. He has one incisor in the front that we have to get trimmed because it grows like crazy because he doesn't have any other teeth for them to kind of wear down on because, I'm sorry, I've got a bit of a runny nose, I guess. Their teeth grow for their whole lives, and the top and bottom incisors wear each other down, but he doesn't have any, so his one little snaggletooth grows really long. I didn't know he didn't have any teeth until I took him to the vet after I adopted him from the Humane Society, so I took him to the vet. They told me he had dental problems, but I didn't really know the extent of them. But I took him to the vet, and they were like, he doesn't have any teeth on the bottom. All he has is his molars, and he's only got one on the top. And before, I'm not going to pry this little baby rabbit's mouth open, so I wasn't sure, but I was like, oh my god. So he's kind of just like a little old man, gums and all. He is, how old is he? He's like 4.5 now. I adopted him when he was 3.5, so maybe he's almost closer to 5. Anyway, he's been on a bit of a naughty streak. All of the sudden, I would say around Thanksgiving last year, so Thanksgiving 2023. Before that, he had been kind of shy, like he's not really coming up to us. I go sit on the floor. I go sit on the floor and he would eventually come up to me. He liked to be pet, but he didn't really want to be pursued heavily or anything, so we kind of just were like, okay, this is who he is. He's a little shy guy. He's been through some stuff. Like, I'm glad I can provide him with a happy home where he has lots of room. He's been potty trained since day one. He goes in a litter box, so he is a free roam bunny, which I think was a big change for him. I think he was locked in a cage before. Besides the point, he was very kind of shy, kept to himself, whatever. And then Thanksgiving 2023, I bring him everywhere I go, like when I go home to visit my family or something. If I'm only gone for a couple days, I'll bring him. Otherwise, my friend will come and watch him at my house. But I have a family dog. Her name is Tess. She's a Shih Tzu, so she's not big. She's fat. She weighs like 22 pounds. That's another story. But I was really nervous because this was the first time Tess and Benny were going to be at the same house. Usually, wherever I am, the dog will be at my other parents' house. So if I'm at my dad's house, the dog's with my mom. If I'm at my mom's house, the dog's with my dad. But this was Thanksgiving, so obviously we had to have Tess for Thanksgiving. And did I start recording? That's really bad. Sorry, I halfway through my sentence, I just got a fear that I wasn't actually recording any video, and I forgot to press record before I just started talking away, so I had to check that. I am, in fact, recording, so we'll edit that little part out. Anyway, So this is the first time they would be at the same house, and I really was very adamant that we had to keep them separate because, I mean, Benny's afraid of his own shadow. He's like, any noise sends him running away. He doesn't even like to walk on the wood floor. Previously, he did not like to walk on the wood floor because they just have fur on the bottom of their feet, so we would slip and slide, and he didn't like that. We have little foam tiles for him that I'll set up like a trail around the house when I'm home so he can go wherever he wants. Anyway, so we kept them separate, and then my mom's boyfriend was like, what if we just try? And I was really apprehensive about it. He had never met another pet. Anyway, we ended up setting up a little meeting area where either of them could be swooped away really quickly, most likely the dog, because I'm not going to pick Benny up and scar him for the rest of his life. We only do that for when we have to cut his nails. But he ended up being not terrified of her at all. It was, as I once heard One Direction say in one of those YouTube videos where they teach you British slang, I was gobsmacked. I could not believe Tess was very calm. At first she was like, what the hell is this? But then they kind of went up to each other and sniffed each other's noses, and then they kind of just hung out, and my mom had her Christmas tree up because we can't wait. November before Thanksgiving is Christmas tree time. They would sit by the tree and look at it and just kind of hang out. Tess, it was very funny actually. At first she was very jealous. When we would pet Benny, she would just sit there and cry like, hello, is anyone going to pay attention to me? But they became the best of friends, and I would say since then he has definitely, I don't know, I think it opened up a new world for him. He has definitely been more outgoing and willing to socialize and just out of his element. We brought him home for Christmas again, and they were besties, growing a personality. And then I would say he was pretty better than he was, but still not hello, I love you, I'm like a dog, like I'm in your face. Until somehow, I don't know what happened. 2 weeks ago, I guess he leveled up, and now he's got a whole new personality. I know it takes sometimes bunnies a long time to really get comfortable with their owners, and they're prey animals, so you really have to establish a level of trust with them, and I know that's on their own timeline. It had been a year, so I thought maybe that was the best we were going to get, but something has happened, and now that man is a little social butterfly, which is now leading him to be a little bit naughty. He's not afraid of the floor anymore. Even if he slips, he's running around. It's really cute. He's like my little shadow. He's following me everywhere. In the morning when I'm blow drying my hair, he's sitting right next to me. He's following me in the kitchen. I walk to the couch. He jumps and sit on my lap. He loves to be pet, and he loves cuddles, which is great. But he has developed a new thing where he literally is following you around all the time. So every time I'm taking a step, he is almost he's trying to be in between my legs, he wants to be that close to me. So now when I'm walking, he gets in my feet, and I kind of am almost punting him across my house. And he only weighs, he hasn't gotten weighed in like 2 months, but 3 pounds at the most. Usually he's like 2 to 3 pounds. When I first got him and took him to the vet, he was 1.5 pounds, so we had to fatten him up. But now he's a little bit thick and juicy. But you kick him and he's gonna fly halfway across the room. So I'm figuring out what to do about that. But then also he is having litter box qualms. I don't really know what's going on. He uses it, I would say, before it was probably 99%, never peed out of it, random poop here and there, and their poops are like little cocoa pebbles, so it's not a big deal. They don't smell or anything. But now he peed next to his litter box. And then the other day I fall asleep on the couch a lot, and then I'll wake up and go to bed at like 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever. So I was sleeping on the couch. It was probably 1:30 in the morning, and I felt him jump on me. So he woke me up, jumps on me, is on me for maybe 1 second. I feel him like lay down. I'm like, oh, he's gonna cuddle. And he pees on me. And then he just pees, and then I like freaked out and he got up and ran away and didn't come back. But he has never done that before. And I don't know what to make of it. He's being naughty. He's trying to eat food that he's not allowed to. He's allowed to eat his hay and some greens and occasionally a fruit. Sugar's not good for them. But my boyfriend will be eating hummus, and Benny is just fully lunging at the hummus, trying to eat it. He's trying to eat tortilla chips. He's just developed a lot of personality, and now we have to figure out how to kind of bunny-proof the house a little bit more. So I'm really excited that he's got a personality, more of a personality, but he is a little bit naughty. And I think I started telling this story to say that he may jump on my lap or on the couch during this podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, you may get a little glimpse of him, but if you just hear a random sound or me go, oh my god, that's because Benny has decided to jump in my lap. Which, would be fun if he just came for a little cuddle, but not until we figure out the pee-pee situation. He hasn't done it again, but I think he may have pee-peed on the carpet, which is big no-no. I've had him for over a year, and he has never not peed in his litter box, and now 2 times. So, if anyone has a rabbit and knows why he's doing this, please let me know. He's also fixed, so I know they will spray or whatever, but that's not his problem. Maybe he just loves me so much he's like marking his territory. I don't know. He's a little naughty, but I'm gonna give him some grace. It's kind of exciting that he's a little naughty. So maybe he'll make appearance, maybe he won't. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I wanted to start off with that. I did. I'm slowly upgrading the podcast setup. I got a ring light, not the real one. This one was $30 from Amazon, so we'll see how she holds up. But it came with a tripod, and it holds my phone, and it's got like 5 different colors, and it's got a little remote, and I think that's really good for $30 from Amazon. It had like 65,000 reviews, so highly recommend. But when I was editing the second video, I don't know if, well, at this moment when I'm recording this, I haven't posted any of them yet. I kind of wanted to have a little bit of like a backlog cushion just to get started, so maybe I could post them more frequently than I will end up doing. Anyway, when I was editing the last video, the lighting was just absolutely so atrocious, and I was like, this needs to be rectified immediately. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this light is gonna provide a better image, better ambiance. I don't know. It kind of hurts my eyes to look at a little bit. I don't know how people do this, but we're going to roll with it. Anyway, I kind of have a lot that I want to cover before I really get into what I'm going to talk about today. It's kind of hard for me to get all my thoughts in order sometimes, because I started hearing a notebook, because all day I am having thoughts about, oh my god, this would be so good to talk about on the podcast. I want to talk about this on the podcast. But if I don't write it down immediately in that moment or make a voice memo or something, that there's a 70 to 80% chance that thought is then lost forever. So it's kind of a stream of consciousness notebook that just has a lot of gibberish, but I'm just trying to get my ideas down. Honestly, I wish I could film a podcast episode every day. I just don't really, that doesn't work with my work schedule. It kind of takes me a little bit to set up. I got to put the face on, everything. Also, I don't want to come out the gate too hot and record all of my episode ideas, because I have a lot, but then I don't want to do that for a month and a half straight, and then I'm like, oh, I have nothing. I have no new ideas or anything. So I need to find a balance between, I have so many ideas, I'm losing some of them because I'm not making podcasts fast enough, and making them in a sustainable way where my ideas will last me a while. I don't think I'm going to run out of ideas, but so we're still trying to figure that out. Anyway, today is Friday. It's Good Friday, which is the Friday before Easter. I'm not, I want to do an episode on this, but I did not grow up in a religious household really at all. So I'd like to explore kind of religion as a whole, different religions and everything. On a different, I'd like to dedicate a whole episode to that. But this Sunday is Easter. I have no plans, but happy Easter. I don't even know when this will be posted. It could be April. So happy April Fools also. But it is Good Friday. And that means it's the second week of March Madness. And if you watched the episode prior to this, I was super hyped up. I was a little bit nervous because the team that I picked to win it all was playing for the first time. And I realized that they could lose. My boyfriend was watching my first edit of episode 2 because I have done a first edit of it. And he said that part made him laugh out loud really hard. He was like, "That's so cute that you just had that real." I was like, yeah, I had that realization on camera. It was pretty funny. Nonetheless, I'm a little bit over it. All right, I really was into it last week, but as I have continued to lose and my max potential points have decreased and I have dropped on the leaderboard, my passion to watch it is just slowly dying. There was games yesterday and I did not even check how I was doing, what the results of them were, till about 5 minutes ago before I started filming this. And a second team that I chose to make it to the Final Four has now lost. So, my chances of winning are kind of shot. I don't know how this is sustainable for men or anyone who plays fantasy. How do you carry on for so long? I kind of, even midweek, there was like 4 days off and I was like, I don't give a fuck about this anymore. Like, it's over. Like, there's nothing going on. I need it to be consistent. I can't take this time off. So I don't know how they do. I honestly don't know how they do fantasy football because there's like 5 or 6 days in between some of those games. I mean, I guess it's kind of a different mindset. Like, you're in it for the long haul. I don't know. It was fun while it lasted, but do I love it? I don't know. I won't retract my statement. I think I definitely want to try fantasy football, but March Madness kind of sucks once you start losing. There was a brief moment, about 6 hours, where I was number 1 in my group, my bracket, whatever. I took a screenshot, and that was an unbelievable feeling, but then it quickly came crashing down, and then I was tied with about 7 other people for 4th place, and then I was like, fuck this. So, I don't know, maybe the Houston will win it all. That'll still be super exciting, but I think my chances of winning have been lost to the wind, which is a little bit disappointing, but c'est la vie. Life goes on. I decided that the vibes of this podcast that I am going for, or that feel appropriate to liken, if I'm trying to explain it, is Bridget Jones' Diary. I know Frazzled English Woman was an aesthetic for a while, but I just truly think that is my lifestyle. I guess it's Frazzled American Woman from early 2000s doesn't sound as cute as Frazzled British Woman, but the part where she's just like blubbering and trying to figure out her life and sitting on her couch in her pajamas watching movies and things, I really resonate with that. So, call me Bridge, baby. Bridget Jones. I love those movies. My mom showed those to me when I feel like I was like 13 or 14, and we really bonded over them, but that was a major comfort movie for me growing up. She's a mess, but I was like, I want to be Bridget Jones. She's a mess, but she's realistic, and she has a cool apartment, and her friends they go out to dinner, and she's an independent lady, and I know being an adult is hard, but she makes it look so fabulous but messy. Bridget Jones is the blueprint for a work in Prog-mess, I think. So that is the the mood of this podcast. Another thing I wanted to bring up is that I've been hearing on a couple podcasts about kind of going back to, a lot of people are going back to a kind of mental state of we're not being embarrassed about liking things anymore. I don't want to talk about Brittany Broski on every episode, but I do watch her podcast every single week and I love it. And she has talked about this, obsessed with Brooke Averick. She has talked about this, but kind of just being proud of what you like, and if it's childish or whatever, like we're kind of like healing the inner child. So I just want to be here. I just want to say here that I'm in my slime era. I like slime. And I literally never thought those words would come out of my mouth, but my goodness, I love slime. Specifically, Momo slimes from TikTok. I have not yet been able to get an OG slime, but I think Momo slimes like might be better. I don't know. I don't have a comparison, but the one I have a Taylor Swift slime. Her Taylor Swift, I think it's a girl. Their Momo slimes, Taylor Swift slimes are, I don't remember the word. It's like the response. Whatever. They are so cute and they smell so good. I don't know. I think the smell of mine. So I have a slime inspired by the Archer, and it's like a thick jelly slime, and oh my god, it just smells so good. I only have one slime. I'm saying in my slime era, like I have a whole collection. I cannot afford to have a collection of slimes because they are a bit pricey, but the one slime I have played with every single day for the past month that I have had it, and I love her. She lives in my purse when I'm a little stressed out at work. I just play with my slime for a couple minutes, have a little smell, and then I'm good to go. It's scented like acacia brindley, but not her smell. I don't know. I think it's acacia wood or something, and elderflower, and I have never smelled those two things together, but they smell so good. I literally tell my boyfriend all the time, I'm like, I want to eat this slime. I want to wear it as a face mask, like a jelly mask, but I also want to eat it. I want to wrap it around me and use it as a blanket. I just love this slime. So, if I ever get a sponsorship, I want it to be a slime sponsorship. You don't have to pay me. Just please send me slime, preferably crunchy slime that has like rocks in it or whatever. This one has little silica beads and some cute little like stars, and it's pink, and when you stretch it a lot it gets white and like airy, but then if you leave it alone it kind of, the air bubbles leave and it's pink again, and I love it. I love slime. My friend Ashley has one OG slime, and I got to be there when it arrived in the mail, and we were very excited. We were in our slime eras. I also wanted to be in my Sunny's Angel era because I've been seeing those everywhere, and I want one so bad. I think the little, I think they're like Harvest or Veggies or whatever. I think they're so cute, and my boyfriend ordered me one, but I think we bought a fake one or a scam or something because I ordered it at the same time as my slime. Well, he ordered it as the same time as my slime, and it's been a month, and I have not got a tracking number. It is nowhere to be seen. I have Googled and looked on Reddit the approximate amount of time it took for some people to get theirs, and some people said 5 days, some people said a week, maybe 2 weeks, but now we're pushing a month and a half, I think. And, I did not reach out to customer service yet, but I was looking at the email, and then I was looking at the website, and it was just like a weird Gmail. It didn't look like it belonged to the website, and then I was like, where did he order this? I mean, he's never heard of it, so I think I told him, like, just look it up or whatever and order. But I did not think that we would get scammed, okay? It was like $19 with shipping. I don't know. No, I think it was like $30 with shipping. Who knows? I don't really know where they come from, where in the world they're shipped from, but I have not received it yet, and I am not thinking that I'm going to. So that is a little bit sad because I wanted to be in my Sunny's Angel era as well and have that on my little laptop or my work computer. I just thought that would be so cute. Their little vegetables on their head and their little tushies. Ugh. But, you know, I guess I'll have to order another one. It was very nice of him that he tried to get that for me, but it is lost in the mail. So, maybe my Sunny's Angel got stolen. I don't know. But I really want one. So, you know, if I ever... Maybe I'll just get toys for all my sponsorships. What's that YouTube kid? His name's like Ryan or whatever, and he has toys. I want to be like him. That is so delicious. That's another thing that I want to do an episode on. Kids on the internet. YouTube kids. Family vloggers. That is a hot topic these days, and I just think it's interesting because the internet, there's always been YouTube and like family vloggers, and then TikTok kind of took off, and I feel like a lot of people were posting their children or things without really thinking about the bigger implications of it, and then it got really out of hand, and there's like nasty people on the internet that will do gross things with your precious little baby photos or whatever. And so now I feel like everyone's kind of really realizing what the dangers of it are, but also that, yeah, they are a person, and maybe this little kid, when they're 20 years old, they're going to resent you for putting their face all over the internet or whatever. You know, it's about consent and having them choose. Obviously, I don't have any children or anything. I'm not close to that at all. But I do think it's kind of something interesting to explore. I'd like to kind of do a little bit of a deep dive on the internet. Maybe talk about some of the scandals surrounding that and my own personal opinions. Because a lot of people that I do follow on the internet are having babies and not showing their faces, which sometimes I'm like, I just want to see the baby's face, but then I have to remember the bigger picture and what's going on, and then, you know, I'm like, I respect that. I don't know if I would show my kid. I don't know. I don't think I would show them on the internet. Who knows? Maybe a picture here and there, but definitely not having them perform for the camera. That is a little bit crazy. But definitely want to do a whole episode on that. Anyway, so the main thing that I wanted to talk today about is something that I've known I wanted to make an episode about since I decided to do a podcast. It also kind of ties in with what was going on with me this week. So I want to talk about emetophobia, which is a phobia or fear of throwing up. Now, you might be like, why? You know, this is episode. I have purse. Oh my god, everyone is so tired of that. You need to stop. You know, this is episode 3. Why are we talking about this? And I just think I want this podcast to be, you know, true to myself and a representation of myself. And this is something that I have dealt with my entire life since I feel like I said this before, but since I have had a conscious thought, I have been afraid of throwing up, and it has haunted my mind, body, and soul for my entire life. I do not remember a time when I did not feel this way, and I didn't really even know that this had a name or that other people experienced this, honestly, till I was really recently. I've met a couple people that struggle with this, and I've heard a couple things on the internet. But in college, maybe I met someone, but I really never met anyone besides this one kid that we were family friends with that felt the same way I did. But I think mine was also very, very severe. So, you know, he was pretty bad. He was afraid to go on a cruise ship, like on a cruise, because he was afraid of getting seasick, which I totally like get that. But mine is quite severe, as we will talk about. But I wanted to make this because, you know, I didn't even know it had a name. Now I know it has a name, but I found that out when I was in college because of Google. And, you know, I've been to therapy since, and they have given it a name. But I went to therapy for things related to this as a child, and no one ever told me what this was called. And I just I really thought I was alone in this. I never really met anyone that dealt with this, and people always kind of thought I was weird because of this. I just think it's so severe, but I wanted to make this for little me. If there's anyone out there that does struggle with emetophobia and doesn't know what it is or feels alone in this, this is for you. I want to talk about it because I would have loved when I was, I don't know, when I learned what YouTube was when I was like 12. I would have loved to had the exposure to someone that has dealt with this, talking about it, and kind of known that I'm not alone, and give it a name, and kind of realize that I'm not just completely out of my mind, because it's pretty bad. And again, I've just said this 5 times, but I really felt like I was the only one who ever experienced this, so I want to talk about it more, because I don't know, people know about being afraid of heights, planes, agoraphobia, all those things, but I feel like not many people know about emetophobia. So yes, it is the fear of throwing up. So if you have emetophobia, you might not want to listen to this, because when I was younger, I couldn't even listen to anything someone would talk about throwing up, or in a movie, I would close my eyes. I still kind of close my eyes, I'm not going to lie, but I would have to cover my ears. And I just wanted absolutely nothing to do with it. So, if that is how you feel, I take no offense. This is just for the people this is for myself and for the little Lindsay who really needed to see something like this, but also for people who can relate. Emetophobia girlies or boys, all of us, rise up. And how this week ties into that is that I had really bad acid reflux this week. I don't know if I know people experience that. I don't know why all of a sudden I get acid reflux like I'm a 45-year-old man who just eats barbecue every day. But sometimes when I drink alcohol and I haven't eaten that much in the daytime, or I'll eat lunch, but then I didn't eat dinner, or I don't know. I will have acid reflux, and I think I have GERD, honestly. I'm not diagnosed, but it is quite severe, and I have kind of like, what is it called? A flare-up, where it'll be really bad for a couple of days, and I have to take like a Nexium or a PPI or something to kind of calm it down. And so last Friday, when I filmed episode 2, we went out, my boyfriend and I, got some drinks, ate a little bit of dinner. We got pretty drunk, and the next day, I was very hungover, but because I have emetophobia, I do not throw up. Probably when I even need to. It is not an option. It doesn't happen. So I was quite hungover, and I felt like shit, and we went to the Valspar Championship, which is a PGA golf tournament. My boyfriend works for the Florida State Golf Association, so we get free tickets to that kind of stuff. And I felt horrible the whole day. I, at one point, did think I was going to throw up, and I had to run away. It was his favorite golfer on the hole, and you have to be quiet. So I just got all hot, and I thought I was going to throw up, and I had to run away, and I was like, not only is throwing up my worst fear, but in public, oh my god. I ended up not. I went to the bathroom. I was fine, but then I had really, really, really bad acid reflux all week, and it was hurting so bad, and I think maybe I probably should have just, if you need to throw up, it's probably good to, because when you throw up, you're getting things that are your body is literally rejecting out of you, and I held that in, so I just think that makes the acid reflux worse, and it was so painful. And I have health anxiety, which is something else I want to do an episode on, but let's just say I've been to the emergency room before because I had really bad acid reflux, and I thought maybe it was a heart attack, and it was not. So we have confirmed it is just very painful acid reflux. But with that, comes a lot of things, and sometimes you feel kind of a little bit nauseous, and it just haunted me all week, and it really made me want to talk about this. So, let's get into it. So, yes, emetophobia is the fear of throwing up, and literally, as I said, since I have ever had a conscious thought, I have felt this way. I think it has to start when maybe the first time you ever get sick or something. To start off, I have only thrown up 5 times in my entire life, and I can count them on my hand. I can count them on one hand, and I can tell you, I was 4. I think I was like 3.5 or 4. I got it from pre-K. One time when I was 8. When I was 13, I got food poisoning. And then I did not throw up again until my senior year of college, which I'll get into that a little bit later. But, that kind of impacted me a lot in college because, I guess it was good I never got stupid drunk or had a problem like some kids in college do where they overdo it, because I was scared to throw up until this one night. I made it to senior year, and then, I guess it's got to happen to everyone. So, senior year of college, and then my boyfriend and I got the stomach flu about 1.5 years ago, and I wanted to kill him because he gave it to me. We thought he had food poisoning, and then lo and behold, the next day, I'm like sobbing on the floor. I was like, I've avoided this my whole life, and here you come into my life just bringing this disease and ruin, and if I didn't love you so much, I would hate you so much. But look, I survived. But yes, I've only thrown up 5 times in my whole life. I know that might be shocking to some people. I know some people that throw up 5 times in one weekend. But could not be me. But I think it really started when I got sick for the first time. It was like the stomach flu, when you go to pre-K, that tends to happen. And I'm afraid to have kids one day for this reason. I'm like, should I just homeschool them the whole time? But I can't screw my kids up because I'm afraid of getting the stomach flu. Like, we're going to have to work through that. I told Henry that if we ever have babies, I'm going to stay at a hotel. No, we'll figure it out. But that is something how this phobia impacts you. I've been thinking about that since I was like 15 years old. How am I going to have kids one day? What if they get the stomach flu and I have to clean it up and then I get it? That is a legitimate concern. Also, I do have OCD, which is something else I want to talk about in another episode, but I still don't know. I think they kind of intertwine, emetophobia and OCD. Like, I do have germaphobe tendencies as well. Not so much anymore, but no, that's questionable. So they're kind of, some of my things are emetophobia, but then it's perpetuated by my OCD, so they kind of make one another worse. So it's really just a cocktail for greatness in my brain. But so I remember getting sick when I was 4, and then I think that is what did it for me, and I think it was maybe violent, I don't know, but I have been deathly afraid ever since. I'm 24, my brother is going to be 21. I am like 4 years older than him. So an example of this is when I was 4 years old. Maybe I was 5. I don't know. My brother was a little sweet potato, just born, maybe like 3 or 4 or 5 months old. I don't know. We went to the Olive Garden. I was however old. And we sat down, didn't order anything, and before we could order, he threw up on the table. I think it was honestly just spit up, not even real throw up. But I made my family, maybe he was slightly older. I don't know what age babies actually can throw up, but he threw up on the table. We didn't eat anything. I don't know if I have ever been to the Olive Garden before, but we left because he got sick, and then I have not ever gone back to or eaten from the Olive Garden since. And I'm 24, and this was 20 years ago. So that is a common theme in this story, but that, maybe one day I'll eat it again, but I just can't. That happened to, I just had some like germaphobe kind of tendencies. Like I have a distinct memory of, I got this new shirt from Justice, and we were supposed to go see Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. If you know when that animated movie came out, that was the time period. So I don't know how old I was. But I ended up not feeling well and having a fever that afternoon before we could go see Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. And, you know, my crazy brain equated Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and my new t-shirt from Justice as the reason that I got sick. So promptly threw that shirt away, never wore it again, and I have never watched Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. So that is a little bit just an introduction to how my brain works. It's not always fun, but so, you know, haven't been to the Olive Garden, and this fear, whenever it did start, this trauma, it has truly impacted me through my entire life. Like, if you could speak to anyone I have known since I was a child, they will tell you this. If you told me when I was in elementary school that you had a stomach ache, I would not look at you or speak to you for a week until I was sure that you were fine and you could not get me sick. I never once in my entire time in school ever stepped into the nurse's office. If I needed to go there for whatever reason, I would wait on the threshold. I would never go in there because I was like, that is where kids that throw up go. And sometimes there were sick kids in there and I was like, I am not exposing myself to those germs. I remember one time we were in music class and this kid, Noah, this was probably 4th grade, we were sitting there and he was like, I really don't feel good, like my stomach hurts. And I just, in the middle, without asking my teacher of whatever we were doing, I just got up and ran out of the classroom. And my mom is a teacher. She was a teacher at my elementary school, and I just ran to her class and, you know, had to learn that you're not allowed to just run out of class when you're scared. But the fear was so real and overwhelming that I couldn't control it, and I just kind of feel sad for little Lindsay that she didn't know what this was and that no one else experienced this, and maybe I just blocked it out, but I really don't remember anyone really actively explaining this to me ever, that this is something that people struggle with. So if you have ever run out of your classroom because someone told you their stomach hurt and you thought they were going to throw up, I'm with you, girl. Or boy. Or anyone. I'm with you. I feel your pain. Let's see. When I was 8 years old, that was the second time I got sick. I don't know if I had the stomach flu or food poisoning, but it was after I ate McDonald's. I woke up in the middle of the night and was sick. Isn't it great that these are just burned into my brain? Like, yes, this is really what I'm so glad I'm using so much brain storage to remember all the times I've thrown up and what caused it. So fun. But then I refused to eat McDonald's, and this was the first time I went to therapy for this, because I guess my parents really realized how much this was impacting me, and I refused to eat McDonald's. And so I went to, I guess it was exposure therapy. I don't really know. Her name was, I don't know if this was her real name, but I called her Dr. Diamond. I only went for like 6 or 8 sessions or something, because then my insurance wouldn't cover it anymore, and it was really expensive, because she was I don't know if it's food aversion, but that kind of like exposure therapy specialist. But I would go there and we would play games and whatever, and she would try to make me eat McDonald's. Like, this is every kid's, if you could tell someone that when they went to therapy, all they had to do was play like pickup sticks and eat McDonald's, like, I'm sure any child would be so happy. Oh my God, I would cry and cry and cry my eyes out, because correlation equaled causation in my brain. Like, the McDonald's was going to make me sick, and I was not willing to risk that. I was not ready for that. Like, I literally remember we would play, I forget the game. It's like the little sticks and you put them through the hole and try to pull them out. We would play lots of games, and my reward would be a McFlurry, and this lady would be trying to get me to take a bite of a McFlurry, and I'm just sobbing my eyes out. Like, what is that? So I did that, and I don't know if, I feel like I ended up eating a bite of the McFlurry or a French fry or something, and then, my insurance ran out and I couldn't go back. And today I do eat McDonald's, so at some point I did get over that, but, that's pretty a severe reaction to, or just interesting connections for my brain to make. So, that, it's hard. It has invaded my my life every single day, and where I need to go to therapy so I'm not afraid to eat a McFlurry or be in the same room as someone that eats a McFlurry. I would not look at you or hug you or be in close contact with you if you had a stomach ache. If I did hang out with someone and they did have a stomach ache, then I would worry that I was going to get sick I would give myself like 72 hours, and after that, then I would allow myself to chill. But it was always like a countdown. Every time someone threw up in school or whatever, that was really hard. I would have to go to the bathroom and like calm myself down, go to my mom's class. In middle school, my mom wasn't there anymore, so I kind of had to figure it out. Oh, the worst day ever. I remember walking to class. I think this was 6th or 7th grade, and I'm walking down the hallway, and it's between classes, so everyone's between the bells, so everyone's walking to class, and this kid throws up in the hallway. I'm on this side walking this way, and he's like over here. It's a pretty wide hallway, so like wasn't gonna get on me or whatever, but I watched it happen. And then immediately after he threw up, like a kid was walking and didn't see it and slipped in the vomit, fell in the vomit, and then he threw up. And I witnessed all of this happen, and I think I had to go home for the rest of the day because I was so overwhelmed. I was like, oh my god, I cannot. When people throw up, like, everyone that I know that can, like, puke and rally, I am just in awe because I need 1 to 2 days to recover. Like, I can't talk to anyone after. I need to lay on my couch. I need to cry. I need to process. So it's just so crazy to me that people can do that. My friend, I went out with my friends, 2 weeks ago or whatever, and one of them, he is a professional puker. The second his tum-tum doesn't feel good, I don't know if this is good or bad, but he'll throw up, and I was DD, and I was driving them out somewhere, and they had had a lot to drink, and right before he sits in my car, and then just opens the door and gets out and starts puking in the parking lot. And I was like, I am gonna freak out. Please don't throw up in my car. Like, this is actually the worst person you could do this to. I literally wanted to tell them to get out of my car, and I'm not gonna drive him home, but obviously I can't do that. He finished whatever and then got back in the car and promised me he was okay. We went to the gas station because I needed gas. I went inside to get a drink, and then I came back out, and my other friend was like, I just threw up in the trash can, but I'm good now. And I could not wait to get them out of my car and home and Lysol the shit out of everything, because even if it was from drinking, the mind wanders. And it was not good. That is not the first time. Someone has actually thrown up in my car before, and they had to get it detailed, and I had to play music in my ears while it was happening because we were in the middle of the highway and there was nothing I could do about it. But sometimes I have dreams about it, and it's not good. Many of my nightmares have also been about just people I know throwing up near me, throwing up on me, and I will wake up in a sweat. I don't know if you've ever woken up from a nightmare crying, but that has happened to me, and usually it's because someone threw up. Anyway, so that was when I was 8. When I was 13 years old, I got food poisoning, which was my first foray into that experience, and I do not recommend it. I got it from a Dunkin' Donuts coffee. You can bet your sweet ass I don't drink Dunkin' Donuts anymore. But got a stomachache pretty quickly after, and I don't know, anytime my stomach hurts, I immediately think that I am going to throw up, so that's some anxiety, but I really didn't think it was going to happen, and I definitely think I held it in a long time, and I thought it wasn't going to happen, and then I woke up in the middle of the night and kind of exorcist vomited everywhere over my house, and that was very traumatic. That was very bad. And then I proceeded to, it only happened once. It was I threw up like 10 times in about 5 minutes, I think because I hold it in, then it just comes out like the Exorcist. I'm sorry if you're listening to this and we're just talking about puke, but it needs to be said. the fact that I can even openly talk about this, honestly, is a lot of growth for me. So let's all be proud. But then I was so scared that it was going to happen again. Like, you know, if it's going to happen, I want it to happen, and then it's done. That I didn't want to eat or drink anything, and then I ended up getting severely dehydrated, and I had like a migraine. It was not good. So don't do that. My mom was like, you have to drink, and I was like, no, I'd rather get a migraine and be dehydrated than throw up again. So that is mental illness. that is an extreme phobia. So then after that, I think that kind of traumatized me a bit, and then I kind of got into this thing of like counting the years, or then it had been a couple months, years, whatever, and I don't know, someone had told me the older you get, the longer you can go without getting sick. I don't know if that is true, but that became my those words became my lifeline, so I was kind of obsessed with keeping track. And I mean, I did good. I went from 13 to 21 years old without throwing up. And yeah, so I didn't really get crazy drunk in high school ever. I did not get crazy drunk in college, really. And, you know, I think maybe this fear kind of limited my experiences in some way, but also, you know, maybe I don't think I'll ever have a problem with it because I don't want to throw up. Things did get better when I went to college. I was able to differentiate between someone is throwing up because they have the stomach flu and someone is throwing up because they were drunk. I don't want to do either, but I could more tolerate drunk people vomiting and not running away in fear, or fear that I would get sick, or that I'm not going to talk to them for a week or something, because I knew the cause. I just really don't want to get the stomach flu because that is terrible, and I feel like I want to knock on wood because I just hate talking about it. One of my first times ever going out in college, actually someone threw up on the back of my legs, and I did have to go in the bathroom and cry, but I think that really kind of not humbled me, but it really helped me kind of get my shit together and be like, okay, we're to some degree we're gonna have to be okay with this. Then I had roommates in college that, you know, did college things and drank, and there was throwing up and all that good stuff. One of them threw up in my car. So I did get more comfortable with it, you know, kind of the idea of it. When I was little, I would close my eyes and my ears and like freak out if I ever saw it on TV or someone in a movie did it or anything. Now it's not to that extent. Maybe sometimes I'll close my eyes just because I don't want to see it, but it doesn't have the same impact on me that it used to, unless it is me. And when it comes to that, it's still pretty severe. I don't know if anyone has experienced this in other kinds of anxiety, but it is a very physical reaction. Like, it is not only mental, so it is very hard for me to kind of control in that moment. I get full body shakes where it literally looks like I could be having a seizure. Like, I don't know if it's anxiety and adrenaline just kind of coursing through my veins, but I'm sweaty, I'm shaking, I'm freaking out, I'm pacing. If I ever feel like I'm going to throw up, like, I'm just walking around my house pacing and deep breathing, and it's a mess. But I made it through most of college without that being a problem. I do remember when I was moving to college, having a talk with my mom, like, I am worried about this. What if I get sick while I'm away? That's never happened to me before. You've always been there. That was a major fear, and I don't think I would have never gone away to college, but that was definitely something that gave me pause, and I had to consider. But then I was also like, I can't let this literally control every aspect of my life, because I've fought with that always. Honestly, when I was probably 12 years old, there was a moment of my life where my mom thought I was going to be an agoraphobe and have to be homeschooled and never want to go outside because I was an emetophobe, but then also like hypochondria. It was bad. So I made a firm choice in my mind that I can't let this, I can't think about it every day. I can't live my life by if I'm going to throw up or not. That is not a healthy way to live whatsoever. So, you know, I went to college and it was good. I didn't get the stomach flu. I didn't throw up from drinking, and it was great until one night, my senior year of college. I was friends with a couple people on the basketball team. I was I don't know if I can say this. I don't want to get in trouble. I was a student athlete tutor, and you were not allowed to hang out with them. But, I would tutor some of these people for 2-3 hours every single day. Like, obviously we're going to become friends. So they had invited me to go out to the club with them, and they got a table. And I was like, yeah, I'll go. It's for free, whatever, you get me in. Turns out, so they got a table and bottle service, but there was maybe 7 of them, and only one of them was drinking. So they were like, you can have as much as you want. Like, go off, girl. This is for you. And I was like, okay. I was also a little nervous because, trying to get out of my shell, this was like the first time I ever hung out with like 7 dudes and just me. And we were at the club, so I was like, all right, I need to get loose. And I think my friends were coming to meet me, but I got there first. And all I had to eat that day was steak and peppers for dinner. So not the greatest base, but basically they got bottle service of Hennessy, tequila, and rosé. And throughout the night, I had a mixture of all 3 of those, which I do not recommend. We were at this club, and then I really don't remember leaving that much, but we went to, there was like an abandoned Radisson hotel that there was a pool party going on at, so they asked me if I wanted to go to that, and I was like, yeah. And I remember getting into this brand new Range Rover, and we're driving, and I'm like, oh my god, I have not felt this before, but I think I'm going to throw up. Like, I was so nauseous. I had to put the window down. I was deep breathing, but I don't throw up. That's not what I do. So I didn't really think it was going to happen. I did end up throwing up in the car, but then we got to the abandoned Radisson, and we're like outside by the pool, and I just like think I fell asleep in the chair or something. And they're like, all right, we got to take you home, like you're drunk or whatever. They pick me up to start walking, and I'm like, I do not feel good. I do not feel good. I do not feel good. You need to take me to the bathroom right now. I don't really remember what happened, but anyway, I'm hanging from I got a guy on each side, and they're like carrying me. And I think while they were carrying me there, I just started throwing up on myself. Luckily, I was really drunk. I do not condone this at all. I do not think you should be doing this or this should happen, but I guess maybe it has to happen to everyone sometimes, so you know your limits. It has not happened to me since, but I think that was maybe the only time I've ever blacked out. But I threw up on myself, and I just remember they're trying to get me in the bathroom. These guys are really good guys. They were nothing bad was happening, but they're trying to get me in the bathroom, and these girls are in there, and they're like, do you know them? Why are they trying to follow you in the bathroom? And I was like, yeah, they're just my friends. They're like, can we please just get her to the toilet so she stops throwing up on herself? Like, we're not here to do anything. And then I just remember throwing them my phone and be like, call Allison, who was my best friend and my roommate. And she will never forget the day that a random man called her to tell her that I'm throwing up in the bathroom and she needs to come and pick me up from downtown. And there's many photos of me on the bathroom floor with my head in the toilet. I just think it had to be immortalized because it was never going to happen again. And I'm like smiling. Like, I really don't think I knew what was going on. So thank God I really don't have that many memories. Anyway, they got in after some trouble trying to get in because it was like closed. They were like, no one else is allowed in there. My friend is dying in the bathroom. Like, I need to get in there to save her. Anyway, they got me out. Obviously, we had to drive home. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'm scared. I get in the car, not even close the door. Car's fully in park or whatever. Just the thought of driving, I had to run out, and then I threw up a bunch of more times. And then I was like, I'm laying down on this bench. I don't know if I can go anywhere. At this point, it is 3 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden someone out front is yelling, like, don't mess with me, I got a gun or whatever. And I just hear Allison in my ear, like, I'm not getting up, I'm not going in the car, I'm gonna throw up in the car. She's like, Lindsay, hang your fucking head out the window, we have to get out of here immediately, like, we need to go right now. And she was like, if you don't get in the car, like, I'm throwing you over my shoulder and putting you in the trunk. Like, I can't leave you here, but you need to get your ass up and get in the car. I got in the car, did not end up getting sick anymore. Woke up the next day with the worst hangover I've ever had in my life. And I have never thrown up from drinking again, and I do not plan to. That was not fun. I don't know how people do that all the time consistently. I felt like shit. My chest hurt, my body hurt. It was terrible. I'm glad I don't remember a lot of that. And then I was like, fuck this, that's never happening again. And, I thought I was on my merry way to not throwing up again for another 10 years or however long 13 to 21 is. But then the most recent time was, I don't remember the date. It was like a year and a half ago. And my boyfriend and I got what I can only assume is the stomach flu. It was kind of short and violent, but it was bad. And I'm still reeling from that one. But, that was something that helped me grow. I live with my boyfriend. I didn't really have any place to go. We obviously kiss, so it was bound to happen to me. This is the first time it was ever coming out of both ends, and we had a toilet and bucket. So that wasn't great, but I got through it. I don't want it to happen again, but I know my boyfriend was like, you had a way better reaction to that than I thought you would. Obviously, when it was happening, the lead up to it happening is so much worse than it actually happening. Once it's happening, like, you can't control it, whatever. But the feeling of it bound to happen and the anticipation and the anxiety before is just horrible. So, once it actually happened, he was like, you responded way better than I thought you would. And I was like, thank you. So, that's progress. I really don't want it to happen again. Obviously one day it will again. I think about having kids, sending them daycare, getting sick. I don't know. But, recently my boss, his son, who lives in Nashville, not even the same state as me, had the stomach flu, and he was maybe going to come when he got better. And that sent me into a tailspin because I was like, you are contagious for this amount of days after. Like, if he comes, his dad is definitely going to get sick, and then he's going to come to the office and we're all going to get sick. And like, this kid lives in Nashville and didn't even end up coming, and at this point wasn't coming. And I was already planning for a week out when I had the stomach flu. So, this is something I'm still actively working on, and I'm probably going to have to deal with. Not probably, definitely going to have to deal with for the rest of my life. But, as time goes on, I am getting a little bit more comfortable with it. And, as it relates to this past week, I did think that I held it in. I don't know if I actually was going to throw up, but there was a brief moment when I was like, this is going to happen and I'm going to be okay with it. So, if that day ever does come, we'll see. But I guess we've seen some growth, and I don't really know what to say after that. That was a long story. But I did want to talk about this because I want to be open on this channel. I want to help. Well, I want to talk about my mental health problems, my struggles in life, and I want it to be, for anyone that ever clicks on this video and watches it, relatable, and to know that there's many things that we struggle with that maybe people don't really talk about, but other people can relate to you and struggle with as well. And I really would have benefited watching this video when I was a kid of someone laughing about these experiences and knowing that every time I throw up, my life is not over and it's going to end and I can move on. So if this can help people relate to that in any way, also just to know you're not alone, because it is a very specific phobia, and it is all consuming and it is overwhelming, and sometimes it doesn't impact your life at all for years. Or sometimes, someone's got to So, I mean, throws up and then you're in a tailspin about it. Or sometimes, like I love sushi, but I get anxiety before I'm going to eat sushi because I'm like, oh my God, is this the one? Is this going to take me down? Most recently, at New Year's, my boyfriend and I went to Pittsburgh to visit his family, and we went to this restaurant called Eddie Merlot's, and I don't know if he got food poisoning. I thought he maybe had the stomach flu. I don't know what happened, but he did. This was like the second day we were there. We were there for a week. He had a stomach ache. I get super, super, super annoying when someone tells me that. I have to ask them. I just cannot stop asking them if they're okay to tell me what it's like. I ask so many questions that if you don't feel good, that is the most annoying thing in the world someone could do to you, but I can't control it, and the anxiety takes over, and I just need reassurance, and he was not giving it to me, and he did end up throwing up. I did not sleep in the bed with him that night because he just had a stomach ache and didn't feel good, and I was like, just for my sanity, I'm gonna go sleep on the couch upstairs, and you're gonna stay in the basement, so I can't hear if anything happens. He did end up getting sick, and I don't know if it was food poisoning. I didn't get sick, so I think it might have been just something, I don't know, but I did not give him a kiss or sleep with him in the same bed. Not like that, you dirty people. I did not sleep in the same bed as him for the rest of the trip. I slept on the couch upstairs or then in the couch in the same room. But that was in December, so it follows me wherever I go. Thank God my boyfriend loves me, and he has just realized that this is my reality, and I work on it the best I can. But if you experience a phobia in any other area, like, it is extreme fear and it defies logic, and it is something that is very hard to overcome. And I think I've done a lot of really good work, honestly, to be where I am at now. But it is definitely something I'm going to struggle with for the rest of my life. But I hope I can continue to make light of it, and I would love to meet other people who struggle with it, because my whole life I really felt alone. Like, people would laugh at me or just think I was weird or make fun of me, or like, it's always the joke, like, Lindsay's afraid of throwing up or people throwing up. It's a little bit embarrassing. One time in college, I was on a car trip to, we were driving from Florida State to Tennessee. So it was a good amount of time, but someone felt nauseous, and at this point I'm 20 years old, and I'm like in the back seat with my headphones in, going la la la, trying to hold back tears because I'm afraid this girl is going to throw up in the seat in front of me, and I'm going to have to deal with that. She didn't end up, but that's embarrassing. My friend Ashley did throw up on another day on the trip. We were going down a mountain, and she just got car sick and ended up throwing up. And, I cried a little bit about that. I didn't want to sit next to her after. It's just, it's hard. So I'm not perfect, but I don't want to be, I think part of this podcast is I want to talk about things that I don't want to be ashamed about anymore. So, fuck emetophobia. Shame. We're not ashamed anymore. When it's not actively happening, it's something funny to talk about, and I hope some people can relate to this. Even if you have a phobia, like, how debilitating that is. But I'm glad I have people in my life who understand, and that I am getting better as the years go by with it. Hopefully this podcast will be around for a long time, and one day when I do have a baby, I can provide an update on that. But I already sometimes think about, like, okay, I'm going to have a baby. I think I get scared about having a baby, getting pregnant, because people get morning sickness. I do not want that to happen. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I don't want to have a C-section because people throw up after the drugs wear off. I don't want to send my kid to daycare because babies are gross and they give each other diseases and they get sick. But, that's part of life, and I'm going to have to get it together, and if I want those things for myself, we're gonna have to get over it and not let a little 24-hour stomach bug ruin my life. But yeah, so I'm glad I could go over that. That is truly a big part of my life, and this will not be the last time I talk about it. And if it's a podcast about me and the things I'm working on, I think this is a really important thing to talk about. So I'm so sorry for talking about vomiting so much, and if you feel like you need to throw up after this, I'm sorry. I really hope you don't. But maybe I should bleep out the word vomit every time I say it. It's just beep. The whole thing will be beep, beep, beep. Anyway, thank you all for watching. This is really cringy to say, but wherever you are listening to this or watching, please like, comment, subscribe, give me a 5-star rating, whatever. I hate to say that, but I would like to know someone who's watching this, even though I'm making it for myself, whatever. If I want to help someone, if they see this, and I want my free slime, and I'm not gonna get any free slime unless I have some likes on my video. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for listening. I love all of you little emetophobes, and I know little us is proud. If little me could see where I am now, even just being okay with drunk people throwing up, like, that is worlds better than she could have ever imagined. So, I'm cool with it. But yeah, thanks for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.